It's your boy Zay-P, Zay-P the I am. I am that I am, as you are that you are, for we are all that we are. From the individual to the many, from the many comes the all, and the all is one. And so your boy's back at it, back with a brand new video. The first thing I want to talk about is there's a bit of a war that's going on in some of the spiritual communities. I mean, the unformal, the non-traditional, aka the new age, versus the idea of spirituality as it is. See, spirituality as it is not pertained or confined to one tradition, one train of thought, one belief system, one value system. The idea of spirituality is something grander, it's something greater, and it's something that we all have access to, because we all have our own spiritual natures, we all have our own spiritual sides. Even if you do not recognize it, and you do not have to recognize it as spiritual, there's absolutely a connection between us, these individual fleshly human beings, and something more, something greater. There's always more to this experience. There's always more to existence than just what meets the eyes. And spirituality really speaks to our individual relationship with that something more, our own innate potentiality, our own innate potential possibilities that we may grow into, that we may flower into, that have nothing to do with a strict form, tradition, or religion, and have solely to do with our life's journey, finding our purpose, finding our mission, finding where we fit in the grand scheme of things, learning life's lessons, the invitation that life has to offer us for us to grow. This is what our spirituality is about, your own spirituality. So understand spirituality, the idea of spirituality is that it's really an individual journey. But just across the globe, a lot of religious cultures, a lot of strict traditional cultures tend to conflate the idea of spirituality with all sorts of other things. We conflate it with religion. We conflate it with our moral justice rules. We conflate it with all sorts of things that really have nothing to do with the truth of spirituality, which is our own unique individual relationship with something greater, with the beyond, with the divine. Now, to counter that, when we look at the secular culture and we're finding many various spiritual practices, all of those spiritual practices that seem to fall outside of the realm of tradition, all of those spiritual practices that seem to fall outside of religions and strict structures, tend to get lumped into this general spiritual category, which has been deemed and labeled the New Age. And when we think of the term the New Age, it really implies a new train of thought, a new way of being. However, the New Age has been around for a long time now. It may not be as old as some of the traditional religions like Christianity. Clearly, that's been going for nearly 2,000 years, right? The birth of Christ is pretty much when we start. And before that, we have BC, and then we have AC, AD, and all of that, right? So, clearly, a lot of the stricter religions have gone for thousands and thousands of years. And so, although the New Age has been around for decades upon decades, it's an old train of thought for those here on the planet. It is not as cemented as some of these more strict religions. And a lot of people within the New Age communities will say New Age is not a religion. New Age is just spirituality. But that's what this video is about, because there's a huge gap between New Age and between spirituality. So, as somebody who is a very spiritual person, obviously, you can see if you visit my channel here, what I talk about consistently, where I invest my energies in life, I am definitely aligned with spirit and working in service with the divine. This is my purpose, my mission that I've accepted here in this space. That said, as such, in my growing, in my seeking, in my searching, I've explored and studied and experienced various modalities, various religions, various approaches to my spirituality, including experiences within the New Age. Now, with that said, this is not to say anything negative against New Age as a whole, but there are some stark contrasting regions why I need to make it clear. New Age is not spirituality. New Age is but an approach to spirituality. Just like all of our religions, these are just but approaches to true spirituality. Now, your true spirituality is going to be your own relationship with God, your own relationship with the divine, your own relationship with the universe, with the Creator, with Allah, with Yahweh, with Jehovah, whatever you want to talk of. It is regarding you and your own relationship with self within. This is what spirituality is about. It's about you and your spirit. New Age is not about you and your spirit. New Age is a group of abstract, expansive thought ideas, concepts, perspectives, approaches towards spirituality, towards awakening, towards ascension, but these are but approaches. And the thing about spirituality, and what I really wanted to talk about, is this idea how nowadays, if you do not claim a specific religion, then people always want to label you with something, right? The thing about that is, with a lot of the strict traditions, they're hard and fast. It's clear cut. You're either in or you're out. The thing with New Age spirituality, there's no hard and fast rules. A lot of what's happening in New Age spirituality is really a big melting pot. And because of that, you get a lot of really sound, practical stuff in there. And there's a lot of far out there in left field, woo-woo stuff that may or may not resonate with some. Right? We have all of the basics, from basic practices that you can find in Buddhism and Hinduism. Meditation, breath work, learning about the body's energy system and energy channels. These are thousands of years old practices and modalities, right? At the same time, you have the starseed journey, the twin flame journey, all of these crystalline journeys. We're exploring there's astral projections and exploring faraway lands and all of this myth and legend that can become part of the New Age movements, that it can really become a big mess. So far out there that a lot of the practicality and the practical approaches towards one's own spirituality get lost in the sauce. So much so that a lot of beliefs and value systems get mixed up in there, and people don't know if you're going from left to right. And this is why I see so many people who one foot in and one foot out, in the door and out the door. Whether at people as big as Doreen Virtue, who was in the New Age movement for years, for decades, who wrote books, who talked of channeling angels and speaking with aliens and all sorts of things. She designed cards, oracle cards, all of a sudden one day turning around and saying, I have to give my life over to Jesus because the New Age isn't the way, because I've all of a sudden led so many people astray. But it wasn't so much that she led people astray, but she led people into a particular system, the New Age, that is ungrounded, unregulated, non-structured, and so has the ability and has the open natureness to allow anything to come in, right? Anything and everything, it can be included in the New Age. Whether you want to be somebody who's very religious and then you're trying to grow outside of that, and maybe you start to step into some New Age concepts, and then you turn around and you see some of your next door neighbors on that New Age blocks are now Satanists and Luciferians and this and that and the third. Perhaps you got into the New Age because you really appreciated some Eastern ideas like meditation and breath work and all of this stuff, right? Learning about the energy centers. You see the practical approaches in some of that you may not have gotten with Western traditional religions, right? You may not have gotten that with Christianity, where maybe only you learned about was praying and just trusting and having faith and seeing God outside of yourself. And so you say, hey, there's some amazing stuff happening in the East. I see these beautiful things happening in the New Age. Maybe I'm stepping outside of that and I want to explore. But instead of actually seeing that these are outlets for your own individual spiritual expression, you find yourself in this New Age scene that has all sorts of other elements that still may not resonate with you. If you're a Christian, you've been indoctrinated. You've been programmed to a certain extent to see characters and hear names like a Lucifer and see the bad guy, right? This is the dark tempter, the one who preys on innocent minds, and the one who corrupts women and who influences men into doing harm, and so you see that, and then you step into the New Age and you see people who are like, oh yeah, I talk to Lucifer and I speak to these people and snakes are good, and it completely contrasts what you've been learning all your time in your traditional religion. And so I'm here to make this video very clear to understand that New Age and spirituality are not the same thing. And a lot of people who are in the New Age are very spiritual. A lot of people in the New Age are in the New Age because that's the trend. There's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of industry building taking place. And that is not to say that anything is wrong with making money and surviving, even if you have spiritual gifts. It's my personal belief system that if you have spent time and developed and cultivated your gifts and you're able to be of service, it is a beautiful, blessed thing when those you work with are able to be of service and exchange some sort of energy that allows you to feed yourself as well. I don't see a problem with that. But then aspects of greed come in, and then aspects of manipulation, and then there are people who just don't believe anything who are in the mix there because there are so many gullible minds, so many people striving and seeking for help, seeking for new solutions, new answers, left to right, here, there, who are not able to really understand the truth of spirituality, which is about going within, which is about discerning truth, discerning it through one's own resonance. What is your truth? What resonates with you as truth? Because that is always your starting point. Sometimes what resonates with you as truth won't always be the ultimate truth. But if it resonates with you as true, it'll be a step in that direction for you, for your path. All of our paths are individual and specific to us. And so that is the thing about the New Age. For anybody who's trying to get into the New Age, who's curious about New Age, who's curious about New Age spirituality, understand one of the biggest and most important things you can learn from the New Age experience is discernment. Because there's a lot of shiesty stuff going on there. There's a lot of funny business going on there. There's a lot of approaches and methodologies and practices that get you nowhere but on a hamster wheel, going back round and round to the same people, the same person, revisiting the same things and never getting anywhere. And this is not to say New Age is bad, because there's a lot of beautiful things. There's a lot of breakthrough moments. There's a lot of people who are actually skilled, who are actually connected, who can actually help and assist others in accessing their own light and stepping into their own highest nature and their own divine possibilities. And so there's going to be the good and the bad, and discernment is one of the biggest things you can learn in the New Age experience. But that's not to say that these things aren't found everywhere. You can look at a lot of the traditional religions and see all sorts of corruption, see all sorts of contradictory information, all sorts of contradictory teaching. This is why so many people are being pulled away and gravitating away from a lot of traditional religions. And so just because you pick one specific set of rules and traditions and mandates, just because you lean into one particular religion or one particular approach to spirituality, understand your spiritual path is your own. You can have elements of whatever resonate as truth for you in there. I was born and raised Christian, and I still hold on to that. I still pray to God. I still thank God. Absolutely, 100%. But over my journey, I have embraced Buddhism. I have embraced many aspects and ideas from that. I have embraced many aspects and ideas from Hinduism, from Islam, from Judaism, the Abrahamic gods. I've learned and assimilated truth along the way in all of these places, including in the New Age spiritual movements. I've studied Reiki with masters. I've explored pranic breath work. I've studied shamanism. I've developed my skills and abilities, but that does not mean I've turned my back on the truths that I've learned in my Christian upbringing, or the truths that I learned in my years studying Buddhism, or the truths that I learned reading the Torah, reading the Quran, right? I have not turned my back on any of these things. I assimilate them because I understand my own spiritual path includes all of these truths. And it is impingent upon me to learn how to assimilate and embody those truths to be my best self. Now, that's what I do in this work as I'm here with you. This is what I do in my one-on-one sessions. This is what I do in my mentorship as I help others to really identify and assimilate and learn how to become their best selves, bringing these spiritual concepts to the forefront, really stepping into their awakening and their ascension in a way that makes sense for this modern life. And so with that, understand that the new age spirituality is not the core or truth of spirituality, and it is in fact pretty much just another religion. It's just a more open-minded, open-ended, anything goes kind of experience and approach to spirituality. It is not the end-all be-all. All truth is not there. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of deception. There's a lot of self-deception found in New Age. But these same things are found in strict traditional religions. These same things are found in monotheistic religions. These same things are found in polytheistic religions. And so at the end of the day, the most ultimate thing that you will walk away from is your ability to discern truth. Is your ability to really be present in the now moment so that you can feel the resonance of your heart and where truth resides. It is as was quoted in the Bible, those who are religious, those who follow God, so to speak, be still and know. For me, although I do not sit in that same place I sat when I was Christian, I do not just see God as some sort of external being, man outside of myself. I recognize that God is the all. And I am part of that all, and God has imbued and embodied me with God essence. And I am fortunate enough to have awakened that potentiality in self. We all have this potentiality to tap in and access that God spark within, that divine spark within, and make the most of ourselves and really live our highest life and really manifest the best of ourselves. We all have that within us. It simply takes that time, that effort, that discernment, that willingness to be present, to be still, to know the truth of what resonates in your heart. So that's what I gotta say about the new age versus spirituality. One is not necessarily better than the other, so to speak, but understand new age is not spirituality, and being spiritual is not being a new ager. You can be spiritual and have nothing to do with any new age stuff. You can be spiritual and be very religious. You can be spiritual and be atheist. You can be spiritual and be agnostic. You can truly be atheist and not believe in any God outside of yourself, and really see this whole world coming down to you, your actions, your responsibilities, the type of person you being. It's all, if that is your approach to your life, as that is your expression of your spirit, it is still spiritual. Do not let anybody try to tell you that what you are doing is wrong. It is not spiritual. If you resonate with truth, if you feel it, if it feels right to you, right in your path, right for your process, then you have to live your life in your truth. So that's all I have to say about that. New Age spirituality is not the truth or the end all be all of spirituality. And in fact, the end all be all of spirituality starts and ends with you.